Oh, doing pretty good, pretty good. Yeah,
It
we
is a
are.
fine morning too.
It is. It is nice. It's not hot yet. Cold. It's just about the right weather to walk in the park.
It is.
But of course, we aren't that clever. We're going to sit around in our office philosophy of all the crazy things to do.
Right. Why on earth would we do this?
I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I guess we don't have the brains God gave. I don't
No, no,
know.
no, no, no.
Something.
Dan, I know why. Because that's exactly why. We're trying to figure out why. You see,
That's right. Yeah,
we're trying to
that's right.
find out why. That's why we do this.
You know,
The whole question is why, right?
yeah. I
Why
we're
things
like
happen.
we're like 3-year-olds, aren't we? I mean, it's a 3-year-old. Papa. Why is the sky blue? Uh,
That's right.
why does the sun shine? Why? Kids have
Exactly. That's
more why
why.
questions.
I mean, if you watch some YouTube channels, I mean, that's what they actually ask a lot of times, right? Why do humans act like they do? Why do things happen the way they do? Why is the universe ever expanding?
Exactly.
And so this is what we're our little edge of that, I think.
Definitely. Definitely. It's our niche.
It
Our
is. It
little.
is.
That's right. Yes.
I know.
Okay. All right. So, speaking of our little niche, are you ready to talk philosophy?
Sure.
All right.
I've got the
Let's do it.
question right in front of me.
Oh,
The
I'm
questions, I
right in
should
front of
say.
you. Am I the question?
No, I've got my Firefox window up with the email you sent me, so I'm just switching back and forth from
Cool.
Chrome to
Cool.
Firefox. Seeing as how I only have one computer displayed
Seeing as
now.
how I only have one computer, just all right.
So, do you want to ask the first question, Dan?
All right. The first question is it
Or would you
more
like me to ask you? How about that? I can ask you because you usually ask me first. Would you like
okay?
me to ask you first?
Okay, we
Yeah.
can try that.
Okay. So Daniel,
Yes.
is it more important to help yourself, help your family, help your society, or help the world? What do you think?
Help myself, help
Right.
my family,
Right.
help my society,
Right.
or
Help the
help the
society,
world.
help the world. Right.
Well, uh, there's a lot of overlap there, I think. When I help the world, I will also be helping my society probably. And, if I'm helping my society, that's going to benefit my family. And if it benefits my family, it's going to benefit me. So I guess a simple answer would be it'd be better to help the world because
Mm-hmm.
kind of the trickle down effect there. I'm going to benefit from it myself. My family's going to benefit from it. My society's going to benefit from it. Um, but I mean, I think people, and I am a person. Little did you know, but I am.
Really?
Yes. People are generally, more or less, selfish. At least I am very selfish. So, I mean, I do things, for my own benefit. Um, so, is it more important? I mean, to me, I would argue that it's more important to me to help myself, right? But the method by which I help myself might include helping my family, helping society, helping the world, right? So I guess I would say, from a selfish human standpoint, helping myself is the most important to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How
No.
do you interpret that question?
I totally get it. I understand. And we are born alone. We die alone. So, and we spend a lot of time alone. So, right. I mean, helping yourself is important. I think there are many people who look outwardly, for something or someone else to help them, right? When they can be, doing it themselves. Also, I think, in my view, I really think it's important to stand for something in life. I mean, I like to fight for something, to have a stance. So I like to try to, make somewhat of an impact on the world, help society, help the world in some small manner, right? In general, because as you said earlier, I think, it trickles down and it helps our family, and it helps myself in the end. Also, I'm kind of a believer in karma. I really am. I think, right, the more good karma you put out into the world, right, does come back. I mean,
Yep.
I think if you give yourself and your time, I think it comes back to you. Yeah, I mean, I
Yep.
think you can see it come back. I think you can feel it in the end. Yeah. So
Yep.
in that
Absolutely.
way,
And
I think,
yeah, the
putting
idea of
good
karma,
out to the
is so
world.
universal. I think. I mean, I remember the Karate Kid. That catchphrase from the Karate Kid: "What goes around comes around." Um, that I mean, people recognize that. Whatever their feelings about philosophy and those kind of concepts are. The concept of karma. We all have that concept within us, even though we might label it or talk about it differently. But yeah, what goes around comes around. You put out the good vibes, and you can reap the good vibes, and so on. Yes, absolutely. But again, doesn't that
Yeah.
doesn't
Totally.
that
Yeah. Totally.
support my argument that you know what I'm doing is really for me? So I do something to help the
Well,
world. I put out the good things for the world.
sure,
It's
sure.
still basically a selfish motivation.
Well, it trickles down, sure, of course, and I mean, and by putting good things out there and karmically, right? It comes back. It kind of definitely it can come back and influence you in a positive way in the end, right? I mean,
Right.
for example, if you're like to, for example, cook food for some group of students, for example, right? I mean, just and not expect anything from it, right? Maybe someday someone will cook food for you, right? And it'll come back, right? And I think that eventually, the more you put out there to the world, right, it does trickle down, and you can receive from it, right? So I think those who say, to give, right, can help you receive. So ultimately, it is for me, uh, and it's a great feeling nonetheless, right, to give to people, right? Because yeah, it does come back. I mean, it's. I mean, uh, regardless of how much money I make, or regardless of how many fancy cars I have, or
Wow, I'm losing you there, Jeff. Um, I lost you. Your
right.
video was kind of a little blurry there for a while, and then all of a sudden you kind of echoed out completely here. Um, are you back? Are you restarting? Are you cool? Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been neglecting uh, my comments here, so let it be. Thank you for watching. Hello from Reno. Yes, hello from Kumamoto to you too. Got a hello from Los Angeles, from Edward Lynn. Oh, I guess it maybe Edward N. Lynn. Cool. Okay. Self discipline is very important for how. Lost the connection. How are we doing here? Are you back here, Jeff? All right. Well, let's see. Because I lost
Okay, I
connection.
got
Yeah.
it. You can't see. Okay. Yeah.
I see you
Well,
in the preview, but I don't see you in the program window there. Let's see. Self discipline is very
yeah.
important.
Okay.
Okay, and yeah, it sure is. Yeah. Okay, and then what else we got going here? Um, sure, as I stand for knowing that. Why can't I scroll down? I can't see my newest comments for some reason, and something keeps dinging. Is that you, Jeffer, that's sending me these messages? Oh, yeah, it is you. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to my co-host there. He's going to try and rejoin. Okay, how are we doing now?
It says I'm connected.
Yeah, you're connected. I hear you, and probably our audience can hear you too. But I do not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Um,
Huh.
yeah, it says you're. Yeah, I hear you just fine. I
Strange.
hear you just fine, and I see you in the preview window.
And
But you don't.
on the left side, why don't you try another camera layout, Dan? Like go to you and then go to me and then see how that, like not the double one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or just you and then come back to me.
I mean, yeah.
That's
Let me try something else here. Let's see. Reset graphics server. We'll try that. Um, yeah, we're seeing, but I still see black and me in a little window there. Oh wait. Oh, there you are. We found you. You are lost but found. The prodigal son has returned. But for some reason, I still can't see the bottom of my comment section here. Um, okay, let's see. All right, so back here, let's see. Self-discipline. I've read that a couple of times now. Self-discipline is very important for how I treat my fellow people. Very good point. Yes, self-discipline is definitely a necessity. Well, I don't know what it is, Jeff, but I'm not having good luck. Not having good luck hearing you there. Um,
me, Dan.
I hear you sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if whatever you want to try to work that out there, Jeffer. Okay, continuing here. I stand for knowing that I need help from the Almighty God. Without that understanding, I will be walking around in foolishness and presumption. Yes. Let's see, the law of reciprocity. Right, yeah. Again, the law of reciprocity, karma, what goes around comes around. Um, yes, all kind of different ways of saying this similar idea, I think. And I still can't really understand. Uh, Maybe that's the last. Okay. Oh, yeah. Send me an invite. Let's see. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, if I look over there, I can see it. That's interesting. I've got a second monitor and I can see the bottom comment on the second monitor. He has to go all the way out of the app and rejoin. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think he's actually even going to try changing computers to see how that works. Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, important to help yourself, help your family, help your society, help the world. Yeah, it seems that we all have similar ideas about that. The idea that what goes around comes around. So if we put good things out into the world, good things will come to us. Um, so but what is that? Is that helping the world or your society? Is that making that a priority? Um, okay, I can do that. I can send you an invite. Let's see. Invite people. Come on, come up. Oh, there we go. Invite people, and let's see. Oops, wrong thing there. Okay, there we go. Get another voice on board here to check things out. Edward Lynn. Don't know you, Edward Lynn, but that's cool. Cool.
Okay,
Oh
I
my.
see. I see both of you now.
Yeah.
Hey, Edward.
Hello, how you doing, Jeff? How you doing, Daniel?
Good. Good.
Good. How about
Good
you?
to see. Oh, it's the best day of my life, gentlemen. It's good to hear you guys.
Yes.
Great to see you too. Thanks.
It's
Why
it's
is
a
it the
good
best
good
day of your
conversation.
life?
Well, I cannot go back to yesterday. I hope to be here tomorrow. I have today. Today's the best day of my life. They tell me I'm 57 years young. There's 86,400 seconds every single day. There's 1,440 minutes, and the only thing we get is the time that we have, and when it's gone forever. Only thing we cannot replace is time.
Cool.
Did you say 57 years young?
57 years young, yes, sir.
My own age exactly.
Oh, happy birthday to you always. Good. Same 1963 or 62?
64 actually. Yeah.
64. Okay. So
64.
you
Just
so you're
turned
1 year.
57.
Good. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And where are you located, Jeff? What area?
Kumamoto, Japan.
Japan. Okay. I have a Osaka. I have a friend who lives in Osaka, Japan.
Okay. Great. Yep. Not
Yeah.
that far actually.
Yeah. How is it a flight or do you take the train?
We can take the Shinkansen, the bullet
Okay.
train, in about 2 or 3 hours. 3 hours, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I've also flown. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And Daniel, where are you?
Same place. Yeah, we're both we're both working at universities here in Kumamoto, Japan. Same city.
Wow. Okay. Very nice. So I have the privilege of talking to two professors.
Yep.
Nice. And
Yeah.
and
More or
what is
less.
what are both of your disciplines? What field of discipline do you have, and what are you professing and teaching?
English.
English. Both
Yep.
professing English.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, Jeff has another specialty also.
What's your specialty, Jeff?
Tourism.
Tourism. Okay.
Yeah.
Tourism.
Tourism and ecotourism, and English. Yeah.
Okay. Just to Japan, right?
Actually, around Asia. I research around Asia, Asian tourism, but also Japan. Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
Very good. Excellent. Both of the areas that.
Have you visit Japan?
Say again.
We'd love to have you visit Japan.
I would love to. I've never been to Japan as of yet, but I've traveled all around the world. I've been to 50 countries so far. At the end of this year, my wife and I will get the opportunity to go to our 51st country. We are actually, as all things being equal and everything staying the same, in December for 20 days, we'll be going to Sydney, Australia.
Wow. Great. Excellent.
So we'll be heading there for 20 days and taking a 10-day cruise as long as everything stays the same, and then touring the land a little bit and get around. Hello, Colin. Good to see you, Colin. So that's what we're doing. But I was really enjoying the conversation you both were having. It's great to come on broadcast and actually get some great takeaways. I think it's very important that facts are delivered, and you guys are sharing some very good facts and some good things that exist. I thought it was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful
We
comment.
try.
Well, it's good to have dialogue. You guys are having great You guys have a great dialogue and great discourse. I like it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. It really does. Glad to hear it. We're still building our audience. We've been at this a few times, but it started out basically we were just sharing our ideas between the two of us, and I thought, well, why not get it out there and see what other people have to think about these same ideas.
Well, that's good. That's words are incubators. They're forever pregnant, giving birth to new facets of information. As long as you're delivering those words, then people will be able to, you can deliver that to them in the way you talk, in the way you guys are sharing, especially when it comes to the discipline and how do we help each other, but more importantly, being responsible for oneself. I think that's very important. If you're not responsible for you, it's very difficult for you to begin to be responsible for someone else. That's one of the laws that I share with my wife. What makes me the best man I can be is because when I was young, my dad always said, I would rather you get married than get education, because he said marriage is going to give you instant responsibility.
That's for sure.
That's right.
And how right was he? When you have 2 kids later at a house, instant. You got to come home. You can't just hang out all day.
That's right. That's right. Instant
So
responsibility. Yeah.
instant. It's really good, and I think that that's one of my missions. I am going to be starting a program called Conservative Voices: Faith, Family, Fellowship, and Facts.
Excellent. Yeah, love it.
So it's not going to change because there are certain facts that we all have to continue to look at. I'm 57 years old, like I said, and that they keep planting apple seeds, and we keep getting apples. That's a fact. It's not going to change. So the only difference is I wish they would let the earth rest for 1 year instead of just keep planting it so it has more nutrients. But at the same time, you plant a seed, you're going to get more out of that seed than what you plant. And I think the same thing with words. We're talking about words, discipline. I mean, if you just look at the word discipline by itself, that word is so forever pregnant, and it has a lot of meaning. And how many of us are out of balance because we are not disciplined on certain areas?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now how did two Americans end up in Japan?
Good question. Yeah.
Well, for me, I've always been
women, maybe.
Oh, okay. For me, I've always been interested in foreign countries, and I came to Japan more by a process of elimination. I felt a familiarity with European culture, European languages and so on. They seemed, to be most of the roots of Americans. Most Americans come from Europe, Western Europe, and so on. I studied Spanish, and so I was familiar with that aspect of Europe and European culture, and it also spills over into South America. Again, I was interested in South America. South American culture was different, but again, so close that again it seemed familiar. Whereas Asia, very different in so many ways. I thought that was what was going to push my envelope the farthest, and so that's why I chose Asia. And then among that, I simply found what I felt was the best job at the time in Japan, and so that's where I came.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We lost Jeff again.
Yeah, he's having some connectivity issues there. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah,
and now your camera for some reason got you colored. You're reddish versus clear on your camera.
That's interesting. I wonder what's going on.
Your camera's not coming through where I see you clear neither.
Huh. Let's see.
There you go. Bingo.
Okay.
Bingo.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know what was happening there. Okay.
Thank you, Colin. So Gary asked a question. Why educate in Japan rather than any other country? Is there a certain reason that you two choose Japan or chose Japan?
Yeah. Well, like I said, kind of myself more than something that might be a little closer to home, a little more familiar was one of the motivations. But then again, within Asia, yeah, the good job was one thing. I did have 4 different job offers at that time in 4 different countries: Taiwan, Korea, China, and Japan. And I chose Japan. Um, one consideration was the technology level. I knew that the Japanese. I'm kind of a technology person and enjoy new technologies and so on. I knew the Japanese technology level was equivalent to America's, and so thought that that was a one good point in favor of Japan. Um, but like I said before, the culture being so different, and the wanting to learn and push myself. The language, I don't know what you know about Japanese, but it's one of the most difficult languages for an English speaker to learn because it's so very different. Even cultural concepts are so very different that it's really quite difficult. And of course, the writing, the reading and writing, the is quite different. They have the alphabet among one of 4 different writing systems that they have. They have the Chinese kanji characters, as they're called. They have hiragana and katakana, 2 simplified type of syllabic writing systems, and then they also use our alphabet. So it's quite a challenge to try and learn to read and write here in Japan.
Wow. Now the other 2 languages you talked about are those characters. And I think if I heard before, like there are 3,000 characters in there. Did that Mandarin or Cantonese language with the Chinese part or Japanese part?
Right. Yeah. The Japanese. It's very similar to the Chinese, although over the expanse of time, over history, each country has simplified those original characters in different ways, and so they've kind of separated from each other. Also, the sounds of those characters in Chinese are different than they are in Japanese. But then again, I'm kind of speaking to even say the pronunciation in Chinese because, as you know, there are different varieties of Chinese: the Mandarin, the Cantonese, and so on. And each of those pronunciation is very, very different. The written language is one Chinese, but the spoken language is almost like separate languages, really. But yeah, so the thousands of characters, the Japanese share that, at least the origin of that with the Chinese. But then they have 2 other writing systems. One is basically used either for nature sounds or for foreign words that they use in Japanese. That's the katakana, it's called. And then they have hiragana. But the katakana is like I said, it's a sound system. So each character has just one way to read it. So it's very simple, but like I said, it's very limited in its use. And then there's the hiragana, which is used for Japanese words, but again, that just is used for like grammatical endings to words and so on, subject markers, object markers, and things like that. The kanji, the Chinese, the original Chinese characters are what they use for the majority, for the nouns and verbs and things like that.
Excellent. So, what is the current form of government in Japan? Is it a parliament?
Yeah, they have an elected parliament and a prime minister. the parliament here, the legislative bodies are called the Diet, the Diet of Japan, and then the ruling party, the majority party in the legislature. They are the ones who choose the. Well, I have a real terrible delay here in my sound. I don't know what's going on.
You sound good on my side.
Okay. All right. Good. But anyway, so the prime minister is chosen from among the leaders of the majority party. So unlike the president, who we directly vote for, in Japan you vote for a party, and then the leaders within that party are the ones who actually select the prime minister, who is as close as they have to the equivalent of our president.
Okay. That's good. That's very good. Now, schooling there, obviously in Japan, where is the education ranked in the world in Japan?
Oh, it's not much to choose between America and Japan, I would say. If you look at a list of the top universities in the world, you're going to find, a few more American universities at the top, but you're also going to find many Japanese universities, as well as, of course, European, German and British and so on universities. But the quality of education in Japan is very high, and I think it's more homogenous to the extent that there's not the great the great gap between the education level among different people in Japan. Of course, there are elite schools and so on, and in order to get into universities like Tokyo University, it's a similar kind of process that you see in America. You have to get into the right preschool in order to get into the right kindergarten, to get into the right elementary school, and so on. There is that kind of thing, but as far as the overall education in Japan, there's less of a gap between the haves and the have-nots. I think there's also less of an economic gap between the haves and the have-nots in Japan. There's not the wide gap in salaries that you see in America. It's getting bigger. That's one of the problems that I'm seeing in Japan, is that they're starting to copy the Americans a little too closely. It used to be for years, America, the CEOs, I can't remember the exact numbers, but for example, years ago when I first came to Japan, the CEOs of major corporations in America would earn 50 to 80 times the salary of the average worker at that company, whereas in Japan it was more like 10 to 15 times. I mean, still a big gap, but comparing 10 to 80 is quite different. Today, that number is going up in Japan also. I think America, it's up to like 300 or 400 times or something like that. It's really out of the ballpark now. But Japan, the same type of thing. CEOs are becoming more and more overpaid as they are elsewhere.
Hello, DJ. Someone has a question for you here, Daniel. They said, what is the religious culture like in Japan? And is it as diverse as in America?
Well, I mean, Japan is probably one of the more a-religious cultures out there, one of the more a-religious societies. They're not anti-religious. Most Japanese really don't understand religion. They look at the religious countries around the world, and they see more conflict, more social unrest in those countries than they do in their own, and they say, no, wait, what is religion getting these countries? And so they kind of say, that's not for us. We don't need that kind of conflict. We don't need that. They do. There are religious religious people here, anything from the Buddhists and the native Japanese religion, the Shintoists to Mormons and Seventh-day Adventists and everything. Lots of different religions are represented here, but the majority of the population is what I would refer to as a-religious. They go through the motions. For example, they'll have a Shinto-style wedding because Shinto is more looking at today and so on, and so they'll have the fancy Shintoist wedding and the ceremony and so on. But it's more just going through the motions. This is what people do, and so everyone does that more than what they actually believe within their hearts and so on.
Okay, welcome back, Jeff. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Were you having a difficult time with the camera, or you had a call you had to take?
No. It's my my computer. I think my MacBook Pro doesn't seem to like haps.
Oh, so
I'm not quite sure
it's
why.
not a pro then. So it's not a pro then.
Right.
It's a Mac Pro, but it's not a pro because it's not performing.
Exactly.
So Mac Pro is not performing.
Exactly.
So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Exactly. So Daniel, one of the things you said about the government, which I think is very interesting with the parliament and the different bodies, how is the structure of the average Japanese person? Do they vote individually? Do they do the same thing where they can go? Do they have a polling place, or how do they actually execute their voting, noting that there's a majority party, like you said, in parliament, and that's the one who votes for the prime minister?
Well, I mean, similar to America, the prime minister, that's only one branch. I mean, they have the same tripartite, separation of powers, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive branch, and so it's, it's kind of emphasizes cooperation between the prime minister and the legislative body, because, as I just said, the majority party within the legislature are the ones who choose the prime minister. So it's more cooperative, I think, and so things can get done better. But as far as how they choose, they don't look at their prime minister quite the way that Americans look at the president, because, as I said, they're not directly choosing them. But then again, they have a pretty good idea of who it's going to be, because they are aware of who the major players within the major parties are, so that if party X is the one who is the majority within the legislature, then they have a good idea that it's going to be one of a very short list of members, the higher up members of that party that are going to be chosen to be the prime minister. So the election process, the thinking, I think, is not so different than America, although they traditionally have a better turnout than most American elections do.
So people are more participate in their government versus, like you said, how much critical thinking would you say, both of you as professors, from the college level all the way down to the grade level, younger kids, how much critical thinking goes into their particular lifestyle as a person from Japan, and also their business world and their politics? Are they critical thinkers, or are they rote? They just follow a certain system.
What do you think, Jeff?
Sorry, I was typing, so I didn't quite catch that. Can you repeat that?
My question is, critical thinking wise, how much of the Japan, the individual person, from the college level, and then go back to like grade school, high school, whatever university they have, how do they use their critical thinking in the area of social living, politics? You know, are they critical thinkers, or is it really just a class system that most of them fall into and they just follow that kind of routine?
I think they're very critical thinkers. Yes, I think, and I think what makes them critical thinkers is the language system. Actually, right? Learning language is very difficult. It's quite an intense language, and they learned the borrowed kanji from China, right? From Chinese language. They have to learn it from grade 1 in elementary school, and they learn it by writing it over and over and over and over again, because there are about 7,000 kanji. So just doing that makes them quite disciplined. Yeah. So they're very, I would say, almost stoic in their learning of language. Yeah. So I think that creates a lot of societies everywhere, of course, but I think even more so in Japan. You can see that it's there's a critical aspect of getting the proper language spoken to the proper people and writing the proper kanji in certain situations. So yeah, I think it's very interesting in that respect.
Wow. So have you heard about the thing that they just passed?
See,
Have you heard about the legislation what they passed in Oregon? They passed legislation.
I think which
the math they passed that 2 + 2 is no longer 4, because they said that if it's 4, then it's a supremacist, white supremacist. So they said there's no right answer.
Interesting.
No, it's not interesting. It's
Wow.
foolishness.
That's quite foolish.
It's straight up foolishness. It's not interesting. Don't subscribe. Don't describe craziness with interesting. Interesting is, wow, that's a beautiful flower. That's interesting. But when you say known to mankind that there's certain formulas that's always existed and you want to go against it, and you say 2 + 2 is no longer 4, so any answer matters, then you're not setting up a standard that already exists in the universe. Before you know, they're going to cancel gravity and aerodynamics. They're going to cancel all these things. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's get to a certain point where you can't just put stuff on people because you think that's the case. For me, I'm 57 years young.
No, you're right.
I'm 57 years young. I know that all people who happen to be white do not subscribe to being stupid or being ignorant. I know that. So for somebody to just automatically claim,
you're right.
So for people just to claim that every white person automatically has some DNA that they don't like me because I happen to be this, which I go back and say, no one had a choice of whatever they were going to be. No one.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Let me rephrase that. It's interesting in its foolishness.
Yes, exactly. But I like the word interesting.
Point,
it's just very interesting.
To your point, I think there's a big distrust of science lately in America. Yeah, I mean, I think people they just distrust what what science tells them, kind of, right? I think in a lot of cases, which I think it's not good, actually.
Colin,
right?
Colin, look what Colin wrote.
Yeah. All right. Interesting is a way of giving no comment. Yeah. Way of responding without finding fault, but is not necessarily agreeing exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And because, based on what you said about critical thinking and about the languages, 7,000 characters, all the things they have to do, I would have to ask, especially in the United States, when you talk about science, what science are we really talking about? Are we talking about the natural sciences? Are we talking about earth sciences? Or are we talking about just the science of life? Because I think that when we say people don't follow science, I don't really know as an American when we talk about science, because right now they tell me that I'm genetically a male genetically. But now they're telling me at 57 that that may not be the case, because I may not feel genetically a male, but I could be whatever I want. So I'm trying to decide, when you tell me to follow the science, what science are we really talking about?
That's America. I guess that's America for you. Right?
Hey, Daniel, I just love Jeff. He drops it down. Interesting. That's America. He did it again. He did it again. That's, well, actually, Jeff, it's actually not America. It's a very small percentage of people in America that believe those things. For the majority of people, I believe that they understand that when they look up into the sky, they know there is science. They understand that there is a quote unquote designer. They got this concept. They may not understand all the different parts of it, but they understand it. And when someone tells them something that they know is not true, like for me, I grew up in a biblical family. Okay. I grew up in a biblical family. Genesis 3:2. He, God, created male and female, created he, them. So for me, I grew up I'm the 15th of 17 children. Okay. My dad and mom was married 58 years when they got married. My dad taught me as a young child that the way my brother and sister got here is because him and my mom had relations, and that's how babies are made. That's what he told me. And today it's still true. I don't care what anybody tells me, you're not going to get away from that. A sperm and egg comes together, and it still goes there. It's, Edward, are you evangelist back? No, what are you talking about? I'm just having a conversation with two great professors. See, that's another thing, Jeff and Daniel, that most people today do not know how to go into the marketplace of ideas and just communicate and conversate. I like Dennis Prager. He says clarity over agreement. We don't have to agree about everything we talk about, but we should be able to clear on each other's terms, on how we talk to each other, how we communicate with each other, and learn other philosophies. Since I've been to 50 countries, I realize there's different languages, there's different leadership, there's different laws around the world. So why would I only think, that America is the only construct on planet Earth? It's not. There's other constructs, but I can appreciate the other constructs, even though I was born in the construct that I was born into. I arrived on the scene, it was already here. I was born on this continent, so that's the construct I'm in. So I just look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's great. You're open-minded, Edward. That's good.
Well, how could I not? There's 7.8 billion people on the planet, and the last I checked, none of them are alike. Each one of them, DNA, fingerprints, everything about them is individual. There's never been a snowflake the same, never been a raindrop the same, never been a leaf the same. Why then am I going to try to group men and women in the same category, thinking that they're all the same? Instead of us talking about group think, why don't we talk about individual think? Why don't we talk about things that I know that is real? Because I can appreciate Jeff and Daniel for the two individuals you are, and not just group you in some group or give you an identity because you're Irish or Italian or Japan or whatever. No, that's like I've never seen a salmon and a flounder all in the same water going, well, you know what? We're all fish, but I don't like you. It's just they swim in the same water.
That's right.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I'm one for the individual too, Individual differences are interesting. Everything.
Well, that's why I ask each one of you, how did you get to Japan? You both made two different calculated choices. You both made decisions. I mean, no one made you to decide. You decided that. So to me, in my mind, I like the fact that people, like for my wife, I always tell her that a man finds his wife, but a woman chooses her husband. See, a woman makes a choice. Man don't choose. You find a woman and then she choose you or choose me. So I am forever indebted to my wife that she chose me, because she had other choices that she could have chosen. But I'm grateful she chose me.
Yep.
It's great to hear. Yeah, that's excellent. And she chose you for a reason, and you're together for a reason, I think. Yeah. That just goes to show there's someone for everyone.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay. So what time is it in Japan?
What time is it now? Oh, 11:30?
11:30 a.m.
Wow, you guys in the morning.
On Wednesday.
Yep.
Wednesday. Okay. It's 6:30 p.m. Orange County time in California.
Yep.
I'm in Orange County, California.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so I love the internet. It makes time travel possible, right? You know, it's tomorrow here.
Yes. Well, that just allows us to communicate on different continents and, really have a great conversation together and learning and doing all the stuff that we do. And I actually appreciate it, because I'm listening to two professors have a conversation, and it's just so much that you can learn and listen to and hear. And it's so valuable. Just, it's amazing.
Hey, we've got another question that kind of fits into our conversation a little bit here. Our question number 2 that we had prepared for today is, what life-altering things should every human ideally get to experience at least once in their lives? All right, so what life-altering things should every human experience at least once?
You want me to answer that, or you guys want to answer?
Sure. You go first.
Okay.
Go for it, Edward. Why don't you give an answer first?
Yeah. I will give you what I believe would be pretty impactful for all of us, especially those in America, that I think that we have to understand what it means to be part of a family, the responsibility of family, the responsibility of caring about other people. I've learned, I was born in 1963. Okay. When I was born, less than 25% of the families in the United States was having children outside of marriage or outside of wedlock. Less than 25% in 1963. 2021, I believe that I even ask young people this all the time. Are you pursuing a career, or are you pursuing family? Is your goal to get a degree? Because my wife and I have this concept. We believe in the university of us, the university of family. I believe that my 2 children, my grandbaby, my daughter-in-law, my daughter just got engaged. I believe that when you experience family and all of the beauty of the family, the nuclear family, I think that dynamic is 2 pillars that's going to raise you up in a way that you're going to be good for society. Not taking away anything else, because obviously we know that children are born outside of a nuclear family. But if you can experience that and experience true, because for me, love is a decision. Even though it has emotion, it's a decision. I decided to marry my wife, not talking about how she makes me feel, even though feelings come with it, but because I made a decision, then I don't walk away from that decision. So I think that people should honor their family, honor that life, because I believe it builds in tremendous responsibility. And I learned that from my dad. And my dad and mom was married 58 years. And I think that every person on planet Earth, if they want to, should experience family, love of life, watching children come into the world, the miracle of birth. Listen, it changes everything. Like I tell my wife all the time, there's no career, there's no amount of money that will ever replace my wife and my children.
Yeah, I agree, Edward. If you don't mind, I'd just like to insert something in there. And one thing I was going to say on this question was I think everyone should experience cutting their children's umbilical cord, which I
Yeah.
was really
Beautiful.
lucky to have an opportunity to do. When
Yes. Yes.
my oldest son was born in New York, the doctor kind of said, he clamped off the umbilical cord, handed me the scissors and said, "Do you want to cut it?" And I said, "Absolutely." Yeah.
Wow.
That was a phenomenal experience.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great experience. And
Yeah.
I kept that little part I cut for ages. It's probably still around somewhere. But that was a phenomenal experience. Yeah. I think everyone should have that.
I think it changes your paradigm. It just gives you a whole different focus of fatherhood, creation, and all of its splendor. And it just it is a sense of responsibility that comes on you like nothing in life. It's like, woo! It's so different.
You're
being a
not
husband
kidding.
first,
Indeed.
being a husband first, but being a parent, oh, the responsibility is just wow.
Exactly. Sure. Exactly. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm the person I am today because of that.
Yeah, that's one reason I moved to Japan. That was an earlier question. I was living in New York City with my Japanese wife, and we had just had my son, and I was kind of getting serious about a career. I was thinking about teaching in America when I heard about this teaching program here in Japan, the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, and I decided to come over on that. My initial commitment was 1 year, so I came over for a year, and I thought, well, I'll go back to America. I'll go back to the States after this 1 year, and I ended up staying here.
Beautiful.
I just liked it a lot. It was just a very, very good country, and I had a great situation, so ended up staying. And this is 20 years later.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, you know, when you guys ask that question, just think about the impact of what family has on a society.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Just look at it.
Absolutely,
it's huge. And I can tell you, what's wrong with America right now is we've gotten away from that family unit, and everything now is the longer the drive. I'm in the funeral profession 32 years. I have a company in 18 states.
Really? I've got several friends here who are in the funeral profession. They're embalmers, actually, in Japan.
Great! Wow.
Yeah, they started to do that in Japan, and they came over here to teach Japanese people how to embalm.
Wow!
Yeah,
amazing.
That's interesting.
It goes all over the world, but one of the things I've learned in my profession is the value of life and how precious it is, and sometimes how short it is. And one thing I really learned, I started in this at 23, first year out of college, and what I learned immediately is how much people love their family, how much they love their children, how much they love their grandma or their spouse. Or I mean, there's no one ever said to me in the funeral profession, I wish I could go to work another day. But people always tell me, I wish I had more time with my loved one. I wish I could have shared this. I wish we could have this dream. And that for me makes me want to pursue family. And I'm a proponent of this. I ask young people all the time, when are you going to get married? What are you doing? And that's what I instilled in my two children. My son's married now. My daughter will be getting married soon, because I share with them that I don't know why, but it just carries a heavy weight of responsibility that causes you to be a better person and a better citizen. That's all.
Excellent. Great. One more question I think we have.
Okay.
And that is, what is the most important goal every person should have?
For me?
Yeah. Go for it.
Every person needs to have vision. They have to have a vision. If you looked at word vision up in the Hebrew, it says that without vision, you would throw off restraint and have no discipline. Without vision, you have vision, and I always tell people, write your vision, make it plain, so those who read it can run with it. So I give you an illustration. My daughter came to us and said she wanted to study in Rome, England, London. She wanted to study in Rome. And I asked her, I said, so write it down, write what you want to do. Now she's in a sophomore in college, so she wanted to do a study abroad, write it down. And she wrote it down. And I said, okay, I want you to read it over and over. And I said, okay, now present your vision. I want you to present your vision now, all in writing. So I took her door to door, to every door in our community, to people at our fellowship, and I had her stand there and communicate her vision to other people. And what happened with her vision, people saw her zeal, her persistence, her presentation, and provision came for her vision. Provision for vision. So when you write down your vision and you make it plain, those who read it can run with it. So many people today have dreams. They never write them down. Only 3% of the world population has written goals. 3%.
Wow.
You're never going to accomplish anything if you don't write it down. Huh?
I always write things down. I have to write things down. Yeah.
That's why you're a professor.
Yeah.
That's why you're a professor. No, but I should say it again, Daniel.
That's his early on in there.
Yes. So for me, like people say, what is your people say I want to be an entrepreneur. And I said, okay, what's your business plan? Well, I don't have one. Well, you that's a pipe dream. You have to write it down. You have to keep writing it and rewriting it and changing it. The law of the carpenter is measure twice, cut once. But that's also the law of the entrepreneur or a person who believes. Someone who believes in building a skyscraper have to see that skyscraper in all of its detail in his mind. But until they put it on blueprint, there's no engineer or architect going to erect that building until they see it on blueprint. I used to work with a company called Ball Seal Engineering. And this gentleman that I work with, Ball Seal is his last name. He has 47 patents to his name. 47 patents. He's actually the gentleman that created seals so that we could actually hold liquid oxygen so we can actually land on the moon. That's who I got to work with.
That's cool.
So
That's great.
So what he said to me, which I thought was very interesting, he says, I have all of the information of my patents written down. He said the only challenge he ever had was he can almost figure out anything. He was brilliant. He said, but one thing he can never do is take his pattern to market. He needed someone to take it to the marketplace. That's how I actually got hired, to take those patterns to Schlumberger. They were doing big PTFE seals where they can go and bring all that oil out of the ocean without contaminating the ocean. Those big seals. Every plane that you find has seals. This man has had parts of doing those things. I've had the privilege of working with a guy like that, which showed me in great detail, great specificity, that he wrote every pattern down and how he came up with it. And for me, if you have no vision, you have no vision for next week, you have no vision for next month, you have no vision for the end of this year. Like people say, are you getting used to the new normal? I said, what you mean new normal? They said, well, with all the pandemic stuff going on. I said, let me explain that. I've been in the funeral business 32 years. Before pandemic, people died. During pandemic, people died. After pandemic, people still going to die. My vision is going to remain the same. Obstacles come in life. All I have to ask people to do, is your vision going to be interrupted or modified?
That's cool. Good stuff. Well, thank you for joining us. What do you? Shall we wrap it up, Daniel? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's yeah, we've been running for more than an hour here, a little longer than our standard broadcast, but that's cool.
yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel and Jeff, this was unexpected, and I like unexpected. I like suddenlies. I like to suddenly. This was a suddenly. I saw two guys talking on Haps, and I just went down this one street on Haps and happened to bump into you two guys riding down the street. And look at this, man! That's
why they call it Haps, I guess.
Right.
It's a happening place. It really is.
Happening place.
It really is. Yeah.
It is a happening place, and thank you so much. I will subscribe to both of your channels and make sure the next time you guys pop up, I want to get notified.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. I'm so happy that I got opportunity to participate with you guys. Thank you so much for sharing with me about Japan, the languages, all the characters, how you both got to Japan. I always say this, Daniel and Jeff, I never take it lightly when you meet another original copy in life.
Right on. Yeah. So, look for us. We're usually, we plan to be broadcasting like this it's at this time, approximately this time every week. So that's the plan anyway. We hope to follow through with it.
Well, as long as you guys keep going, I know I'll pop into you again. And like I said, I'll be starting my broadcasting coming up soon. It'll be a little bit more in the morning sometime. But I think if it's 10 a.m. my time, what time would it be for you guys?
10 a.m. Let's see.
It'd be 11:30 your time, midnight, or almost
10 a.m. in the midnight here, wouldn't it, Dan?
Yeah,
yes.
something like that. Yeah.
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 So you guys
it'd be late. It'd be around midnight or 10 a.m. That's Los Angeles time. So that might be even later or earlier in the morning.
Yeah, you guys are right now. You said it's 11
because I think you're 16 hours behind us.
Wow, a whole nother day.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, again,
11:47.
Yeah, 11:47. Well, gentlemen, again, what a privilege. I don't take it lightly. Again, like I said, thank you so much for allowing me up in your broadcast and just having a nice conversation. And thank you for the exchange.
Yep. Thank you for dropping in. Yeah, I'll be looking for your broadcast as well. All right. Take care and have a nice day. Have a nice evening.
Top of the morning.
Take care.
Top of the morning to you guys.
Thank you. Mike, my.
My.
Why don't you turn us off? We're still live.
Okay. All right. And so,
Because I need
again, thanks to everyone that participated in whichever way. The comments, we had lots of comments today. That was all good. We had an unexpected special guest, which was another treat. And we went off on a lot of tangents today, which is not unusual for us. But the new blood in the broadcast really broadened our horizons to a certain extent. So anyway, as Edward has said, please hope that you will be joining us, subscribing to our to this channel, to this broadcast, and please watch for more broadcasts in the future. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.